I didn't think there could be anyone more painful to listen to than Kamala Harris or Tim Walz. But then I heard Gwen Walz, Tim Walz's wife. Here she is.
You just show me this. Turn the page, right? Turn the page. And you know what else that looks like? Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Donald Trump. We are turning the page. 52 days and we are turning the page. 52 days and it is bye-bye, Donald Trump.
I actually can't really watch that. It's I don't know if she realizes or not that Donald Trump's not in office. Joe Biden is the president right now, but that kind of acting, I don't even know what that was, but surely it's not helping the campaign.
Well, first of all, the way that they're talking, you would be mistaken for forgetting that Donald Trump is not president right now, because they're talking about how Kamala Harris is an agent of change, how she's going to bring hope and change and all this 2008 era Barack Obama mumble jumble, how she's going to do all that. They're totally ignoring that she has been the vice president of the United States for the past 4 years. It's really remarkable. However, quick aside, and one of the reasons that, all of this being said, I'm actually still cautiously optimistic, but I think Donald Trump's in good shape to win this election. The New York Times had a recent poll where they polled in the crosstabs, who do you view as the better change agent, the bigger outsider in this election? And 53%, give or take, of Americans said that Donald Trump was the change agent, the outsider. Only 25% of Americans said that Kamala Harris was. So, they're trying to gaslight us and make us forget that Kamala Harris is the active vice president, and Donald Trump has not been in office for 4 years now. But apparently the American people have not forgotten, which is very much a silver lining and a cause for optimism. Gwen Walz is a lunatic left-winger, though. As her husband, Tim Walz, very much is, too. If you go back to the George Floyd riots, which started right there in Tim and Gwen Walz's backyard in May and June of 2020, that was where the national inferno began, right there in Minnesota. Back then, Gwen Walz was apparently literally encouraging the rioters. She was like shouting out of the window of her governor's mansion, if I remember the factual details correctly, to the rioters to say, go over there. She was there in the great so-called racial reckoning in America from the get-go. She was one of the leading arsonists in what became a sprawling national conflagration, a conflagration that resulted in roughly $2 billion in insurance claims worth of property damage there. These people are radical left-wingers. This is the most left-wing ticket in the modern history of the United States that very much includes Barack Obama, who was no slouch of a left-winger himself. But the Harris-Walz ticket takes this to whole new levels of far left depravity, I fear.
Absolutely. Look, finally, let's look at the most recent polling. Kamala Harris has received a bump after that debate and leads the race by 4 percentage points among registered voters. That's according to the latest Economist/YouGov poll. Josh, is that going to last?
I don't think so. As I was just saying, I'm actually still cautiously optimistic that Donald Trump is in good shape to win this election. Now, it's going to be very close. I don't claim to be super, super confident in this prediction, but when you go back and look at the 2016 and 2020 elections, pollsters were way, way off. In 2016, Hillary Clinton was leading in all the polls by 7, 8, 9, sometimes even double-digit points. We all know how that ended. In 2020, Joe Biden did end up winning the national popular vote by roughly 4 to 4.5 points. Well, because Republicans here in America have something of a structural built-in electoral college advantage, they actually ended up translating that 4.5-point national popular vote loss into an exceedingly narrow electoral college loss that essentially amounted to 70,000 votes dispersed across 4 swing states. So all that to say that the pollsters have not really fixed a lot of the structural flaws that have afflicted them in the past 2 presidential election cycles, namely the fact that older liberals in particular disproportionately answer pollsters' phone calls, and conservatives here just reject the pollsters, so they haven't been able to account for that. And second, when you actually look at the demographic crosstabs, I'm just not seeing how it actually adds up for the Democrats this go-around. 18 to 29-year-old voters, Gen Z millennials, which are part of the post-2008, post-Barack Obama Democratic Party core coalition, they're breaking for Republicans at historically unprecedented rates in modern times. Trump is winning large numbers, relatively speaking, not in absolute terms, but relatively speaking, very large numbers of Black people, especially including young Black men here in the United States there. So I'm just not seeing it. Now, again, it's going to be very close. it shouldn't be close. Trump should be, wiping the floor with her, given this administration's performance over the past 4 years. So I wish it weren't this close. But I do think right now that Donald Trump is in better shape to win than he is in to not win. I mean, even if this poll is correct and that Kamala Harris is up, called 3 to 4 points nationally, Trump could easily still win an electoral college vote at that actual popular vote margin. But I think the national popular vote is going to end up being a lot closer than that.
Okay, Josh Hammer, Senior Editor at Large at Newsweek. Thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour.
Thank you, Gabby. I appreciate it.